Dad, when I read through the Psalms, I often write the word dad next to the passage. In fact, I got my Bible out today and I just looked for the ones that said dad. You have lived out wisdom in front of your children, your grandchildren, and others who have had the blessing of knowing you. Here are just a few passages that came to mind. Proverbs 9:8 through 9. Reprove a wise man and he will love you. Give instructions to a wise man and he will be wiser still, which is him saying, be coachable. Proverbs 10:12, hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. I remember you talking about having deep deposits and overlooking our faults because of the love that you share. Proverbs 12:19, truthful lips endure forever. Truth and time go hand in hand. Proverbs 16:7, when a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. And you've showed that time and time again. Proverbs 19:17, whoever lends to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deeds. You've taught us all to be generous. Proverbs 25, the purpose in a man's heart is like deep waters, but a man of understanding will draw it out. I think about how you sit with us and you listen to us and you give us wisdom, knowing the situation. Proverbs 27, the righteous will walk in integrity. Blessed are his children after him, which we all are. And then the one that I think about the most is Proverbs 22:1. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. I remember you talking about the name Ripka and how important it was and that you were passing it on to us and that we needed to extend that legacy. So thank you, Dad, for teaching us how to love by loving Mom, your children, and your grandchildren. Thank you, Dad, for teaching us wisdom by living it out in front of us day after day. And thank you, Dad, for showing us how to be godly by reading your Bible daily, giving to those in need, and sharing your faith with so many. We are all so blessed to have you in our lives and to see the Word of God lived out in you. Love you. I love you, Dad.
Thank you, Amy.
Dad, many have trouble knowing Father God. That was an upper heart for me. He gave me the love of a father and expectations, truth, and discipline always enveloped in love. You asked and listened to understand and became a coach in baseball, business, and most of life. Like our Father God, gave us room to make decisions, mistakes, and experience good and bad consequences. A good training ground for life with a loving coach. Your own life had struggles, but you saw healing and a new path in faith, something that often serves as an excuse and permanent roadblock for others. You always wear your faith on your sleeve, extending it to others in word and deed and private generosity. Faithful in little first, God gave you much. You taught us to steward his resources. Only God knows the hundreds. Tithing, Aunt Bernice, the past, the pastors, the youth groups, the cobbler, the groomer, Uncle Steve, beloved Uncle Steve, the young parents with cancer, Jan, the nail tech, and children of Emmanuel Christian Business Cares. God only knows the hundreds, and maybe Mom doesn't even know them all, but you did it together. I know we treasure the life experiences we share, too many to recount today, and extending into those special years on scouting trips. It was a great joy for us. We will share amazing memories, including our farewell trip to Italy. I know you say you are tired, and we want to keep you. You're always with and part of us. But our faith prepares us for the time of life you are in, and it is hard. You have lost a lot, but you still accept these changes in a grateful frame of faith. As blessed as this life can be, we know God has something better for us, and you have lived in Christ. Those who know you attest to a life well lived with few regrets and a legacy for us and others. In great success, there's temptation to see life in frame of work, You taught us the importance of work, but in your life increasingly reflected the holistic value of family, faith, ministry, generosity, and legacy to each of us and everyone who knows you. It is no wonder each of us can see so well the love of the Father. You reflect both of yours. I love you forever. Dad, Chez Francois send a happy birthday message. And if you feel like you want another outing, it's on me. Here's the menu, or if you want me to pick it up for you, I'll bring it home. So thanks for all the memories, Dad. I love you.
Well, something that's not in my letter, but I know that as Amy and Cheryl shared about all the people that Mom and Dad have helped and influenced, one of the things that's unique in my position is that I have people come up to me all the time, like at the church, that will come and they're like, oh, we went to your dad's, the Bible study at your parents' house. And I mean, I've had people, I've been out of town. I met somebody in Chicago and I was talking to, and it's like, are you Ribkas from Ohio? And we went, that stuff would happen. And I've had people over the years that will come up to me and say, boy, your dad helped me at this time and financially, and there was a need and he did this. And there are people that we never knew any of the stories. And there's so many stories, some of which we know, but most of which we don't. And there are so many people that, I think I'm just an echo that there's so many people that would want to directly say thank you for all that you've done, as far as just the influence that you've had, the generosity, just the spirit. I know in my letter I was looking at birthday cards and I had a very difficult time choosing one. And because I would find cards and they would, the first one would talk about the celebrating your character and your integrity and the example that you've been over many years for me and others. Another one focused on your leadership and the example of in our family. I chose one that at the end focused more on the impact that you would have on your investment with me and just how I've changed and the man that I've become and the influence that that's had. And I realized that I could have chosen any of those, and there were a bunch of others that nobody wrote that I could have chosen. I think about even with one that there was no one card to talk about just the kind of wisdom that you've passed on over the years. As at our church, we're just starting a series on the book of Proverbs, and in doing that introduction, and I realized that, boy, I have a greater understanding of Proverbs and of wisdom because of what you've taught us. And some of the Proverbs that you all read already. And those are things that that I'm not just learning, but you've taught, and you taught through your example. And you've shared your wisdom and the importance of wisdom and shaping lives, that it's not only what we think, but even Solomon kind of had the wisdom, but he didn't always live it out well as an example, and you have. And it made me think about a week from today, our son Jonathan is getting married, and he's taking on the responsibilities of leading his new family. As he establishes a new branch of the Ribka name, I'm reminded of the poem that Mom gave us many years ago about the importance of a name. And you gave us far more than a good name. You gave us the example of character and the example of living out that name. I might need to borrow glasses if you have them. These are going to be really bad, but yeah. Thank you, Larry. Thanks. Thank you. You gave us the wisdom how to make the right decisions. You gave us the gift of education and motivation, and gave us the opportunity to maximize our abilities and to thrive in our profession. You've been extremely generous in giving us financial blessing, but at the same time doing so in wisdom, in the context of teaching us to be financially responsible and to steward what we've been given. And as I think about seeing my own son get married next weekend and watching him start on the path of building his own family, his own branch of the Ribka name, it's made me thankful for the heritage you passed on to me and that you've taught me to pass on to my children in such a way that we see them now passing on to their children as well, to the third and fourth generation. Through the years, you've been honored. Others have honored you for your business impact that you've made, the company that you've started, the way that you've shaped your industry, and all that's justified. But as your son, looking down now to the third and fourth generation, I celebrate the influence that you've made on your family, and then the literal thousands of people that have been impacted through your children and their grandchildren. And King David was the greatest man in all of Israel's history. At the end of life, he could celebrate a great political reign, but he died a lonely man who was unloved by his family. You have a heritage that puts King David to shame. You're surrounded by your wife, your 6 children, your grandchildren and great-grandchildren who love you, admire you, and are committed to you. And I love you, and I'm thankful for you, and I strive to honor you by living up to the heritage that you've passed on to me. Thank you. I love you, Dad. Thank you, Larry.
Of all the kids, I'm the one that didn't do my homework, not Michael. I would have thought. So I don't have your letter of it. I just got home from Italy. I'm going to write it. But just saying, this is going to be, you're the most important person in my life. And I love you so much. You're my rock. And as I raise my own kids, I just think about all the lessons that you've taught. And I wonder, like, how did you do it? Like, how you taught us all to love the Lord and to be generous. And, like, just, I tell them, like, I would go to my volleyball games and I'd always look up in the stands and you were always there cheering me on. And just all the lessons that you've taught me. And I just love you so much. I'm probably forgetting 1,000 things, so I should have a letter. Just thank you for being such a godly man. And when I think of the Lord, it's not hard to think of the Lord because you are such a perfect representation of him. I mean, you are the Father, you're the perfect Father that loves us and even, like, disciplines us and even, like, tells us the truth. I never forget when, like, you pulled me aside after I didn't make cheerleading squad and you said, Angela, you're a terrible cheerleader. And I'm like crying, I'm like, thanks, Dad. But you're like, but you're a really good volleyball player and you're the captain of your team. And when you want someone cheering for you instead of cheering for someone else, and even like something like that, you like always guided us, even when it's not what we wanted to hear. But it just, a lifetime of looking back of all the precious memories of our trip to Detroit with the Indians and Boston and just so many beautiful memories that I just, my kids, I tell my kids all the time, oh, that's the Poppy in me. Something will happen. I'm like, that's the Poppy in me. That's the Poppy in me. How generous you are, and just love you so much. And I thank you for all the memories.
There was one time that Cleveland Indians got rained out in Boston, and they got rained out twice, and they scheduled 5 games in Boston because of rainouts. And
In 3 days.
5 games in Boston.
Yep.
And I said to Angela, her last minute, you want to go? 5 games. And we went to all 5 games.
In 3 days. 3 days. There was 2 doubleheaders, and yeah, we didn't miss an inning.
No, I mean, but talk about a memory. I mean, 5 games in Boston, and we ended up scalping tickets. We had great tickets, right, for all 5 games.
And that was when they were really good. That was when they were really good. That's not like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that was,
Oh,
they were really good. Yeah.
But you talk about that, what a memory.
Beautiful memory.
5 games, and 3 cakes. I mean, we
Yeah.
just, yeah,
I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Man, what a surprise, and what a treat to have, to be here at age 90, unexpected, and to have my dear children truthfully share their love for me, which what a blessing. What a blessing to have your children love you And I know so many people in my business that are alienated from their children. They don't talk to their children won't talk to them. There's an envy sometimes. And I don't have that, and I'm so blessed. I mean, this is not anything I've done. It's a blessing of God. God, I'm so blessed, to thank you.
I love you, Dad.
Love those games.
Dad, we're here to honor you. And before I read my letter, I also want to honor Mom, because none of us would have this relationship with Dad if you didn't consistently have us over the home and in the early years teach us to love Dad. So every word is an honor to you as well. So thank you. Dad, John Maxwell once said that an inheritance is what you leave for your children, while legacy is what you leave in them. Dad, you have spent many hours thinking through the inheritance you are leaving your children. And while we appreciate your hard work, your generosity, and your great care for us, what must not be overlooked is that you've also given us a great legacy. It is more difficult to document, but it is far more valuable than money or possessions. An inheritance can be spent or lost, but a legacy goes on, passed from one generation to the next. I want to share with you 7 things that you have left us as a legacy. The first one is the fear of the Lord. Proverbs 14:26 says, "Whoever fears the Lord has a secure fortress, and for their children it will be a refuge." From my earliest memories, you taught me to fear God and to honor Him as God. Consistently throughout my lifetime, this has been a theme of your life. As children, we grow and we eventually leave the safety of our home and of a father's protection. But the covering of knowing and trusting God is greater because it's a shelter and refuge. And because of you, I fear God, and I am not afraid. Secondly, you've given us a hunger for learning. You never stop learning. Even now at 90, you daily read the Wall Street Journal, you listen to Al Mohler, and you devour audiobooks. I'm sure all of us have had the experience of hearing you share your deep knowledge about a political or a historical topic and being amazed at how much you know. We tell you, you should teach a master class. But you learn for the sheer love of learning and understanding, not to impress others. Third, the power of silence, good questions, and presence. In large part, I've built my ministry and many of my relationships on this gift that you have taught and modeled for me. You always make room for people to speak and ask insightful questions that lead us to deeper truths. You have always been quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Yet no one would ever describe you as weak or without opinions. You are discerning about when you speak, and because of that, your words carry great weight and wisdom. Fourth, your generosity and care for others. Jesus told us to give to the needy in such a way that the left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. As I've grown closer to you over the last decade, I've learned how you and Mom have continually practiced generosity in secret. You have given not just money, but you have labored over how to advise people who are in need. Your kindness has often gone unseen, but its impact has not. Fifth, the value of integrity. I remember you telling me, don't ever say, if I'm being honest, because you should always be honest. Dad, I know that you have guarded your integrity and you have taught us to do the same, to honor our word, to live authentically, and to trust, as you learned from Dave Burnham, that the truth and time go hand in hand. Fifth, your ability to laugh at yourself. You say you have no sense of humor. Well, you might not be Uncle Steve, but you do have a sense of humor. More importantly, you can laugh at yourself. You can laugh about being offered a free cookie or coffee because carrying your plastic bag of change, you looked homeless. You can laugh about putting your finger in a bowl of ice water because you had a paper cut. You can laugh about the time the FBI paid you a visit. Or when you were trying to shoot ducks with a pellet gun in your robe at the Maidstone house. Or when you exceeded your unlimited budget at the Greenbrier. You have a twinkle in your eye that only those who really know you can appreciate and delight in. And finally, you are teaching us how to age with dignity. I thank you for modeling this. You have lived an incredible life. We love hearing stories about you playing tennis with O.J. Simpson, although I doubt it still. Sharing Jesus with mobster lawyers and being chased around a Chicago ballroom by a jealous colleague. And although you have lived big and accomplished much, you carry the same dignity at 90 living with significant handicaps. You began to learn this lesson when you were my age and you were humbled by the impact of cancer and surgery and treatment. And as you have grown older, you have slowly lost many of the abilities that once allowed you to be independent and powerful in the world's eyes. And yet you have accepted these limitations with contentment. This has taught us at a soul level that the value of a person is not found in what he can do or in what others think of him, but in being at peace with himself and with God. I always cry at this part. Dad, you are not only my father, but over the years we have become friends. You have shared your heart with me, both in words and in silence, because I see things in you that words can't express. Who you are and how you have lived is a part of me. And I pray that I can pass that legacy to my children. I love you.
Poppy, this is a letter from my dad to you. Dear Dad, as we gather to celebrate your birthday, we find ourselves overwhelmed with gratitude, not just for the years of your life, but for the extraordinary way you have lived each one. Your life is not simply a story of a man who grew older, it is the story of a man who grew deeper, wiser, and more rooted in the grace of God with every passing year. It all began with a moment of surrender, the day you trusted Christ 55 years ago alongside Mom. That single decision did not just change your life, it set in motion a legacy that we are all still living out today. From the moment you came to know the Lord, you pursued Him with the same wholehearted devotion. You and Mom decided, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24:15. That marked everything you did. You did not merely attend church, you opened the Word, studied it, wrestled with it, and let it shape you from the inside out. The psalmist captured your posture towards God's Word perfectly. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth fruit in its season. Psalm 1:1-3. That tree, deeply rooted, bearing fruit in every season, is a portrait of you. You did not just read about faith, you endured difficult seasons, surviving cancer twice, facing problems in the business. But because of the roots you put down with God's help, you endured and flourished. It was not just personal faith, you boldly shared it. With family, neighbors, business colleagues, and friends, you planted seeds with a quiet confidence and a genuine love for people that made the gospel irresistible. You and Mom did not stumble into a strong marriage. You built it intentionally, on the foundation of scripture and mutual devotion. You loved her the way Paul commanded in Ephesians. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Ephesians 5:25. Your children watched that love play out every single day. They saw sacrifice, patience, forgiveness, and steadfast commitment. They saw two people who chose each other repeatedly, and in doing so, showed them what a covenant truly looks like. The home you and Mom built was not perfect. No home is. But it was safe, it was warm, and it pointed us towards something eternal. Each of your grandchildren, as they approach marriage, look to you and Mom as a model for building a great family. Proverbs 27 tells us, "The just man walketh in his integrity. His children are blessed after him." Dad, your children are living proof of that promise. A father's character leaves a legacy in his children, and the legacy you have left is one of integrity, faith, hard work, and grace. The values you modeled have not faded with time. They have taken root in your children and carried us forward for generations. Just as importantly, you never let us think too small. You challenged us to dream boldly, to trust God for more than we could see, and to become all that He intended us to be. Not complaining about obstacles, but learning how to overcome them. That same gift of encouragement has shaped not only your children and grandchildren, but so many others whose words to you echo the same refrain. You gave them confidence. You believed in them when they doubted themselves, and you never gave up on them. That is one of the quiet miracles of your life. You have helped people see what God might do through them and then urge them to step forward in faith. 40 years ago, God intervened. When cancer threatened to cut your life short, God heard our prayers and gave you 40 more years. There was more fruit yet to bear, more seeds yet to plant, more generations yet to bless. You have always called the year since your bonus years, and that phrase alone tells us everything about the posture of your heart. Not entitlement, but gratitude. Not assumption, but wonder. Every single day since has been received as a gift. Consider what those bonus years have held. 19 grandchildren have grown up knowing you, not as a name in a story or a face in a photograph, but as a living, present, irreplaceable man in their lives. They have sat at your table, listened to the stories that shaped your life, received your counsel, and watched up close the way a man of God carries himself through every season. Had God not spared your life, not one of them would have had that. The thought is almost too much to hold. Each of those grandchildren carries something of you. Your wisdom is woven into the way they think. Your example shapes the standards they hold themselves to. The questions they bring to the crossroads of their lives about faith, about work, about marriage, about character, are often answered, at least in part, by something they watched you do or heard you say. That is not an accident. That is the fruit of a man who used his bonus years with holy intentionality, pouring himself into the people God placed around him. And now, what a joy. That blessing is flowing into the next generation and the next. Your grandchildren, and now your great-grandchildren, are being shaped by a heritage that traces directly back to that decision you and Mom made 55 years ago, and to the extraordinary grace of God in giving you 40 more years to live it out. Psalm 112 could have been written with your family in mind. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, that delighteth greatly in his commandments. His seed shall be mighty upon earth, the generation of the upright shall be blessed. Those great-grandchildren will one day tell their own children about a man who loved God. Loved his family and never wavered. How he was called like Abraham to follow God, and like Joshua chose to serve the Lord. That is your eternal inheritance to them, not gold or silver, but something far more lasting. When you founded your company, you did not just set out to build a profitable business. You set out to build something good, something that reflected the character of God. I remember so distinctly asking you in my first year in the business what our big goal was. You responded, to help 10 people we work for make more money than I do. That insight was the foundation of an incredible business. It recognized the basic principle that value must be created for our customer to grow. This is not a marketing phrase for us, it was the actual operating philosophy behind every decision you made. Tim Keller, in Every Good Endeavor, wrote that work done faithfully and excellently for the good of others is not separate from our faith, it is an expression of it. It is how Christians participate in the ongoing renewal of the world. Dad, you have set the course for a business that God has continued to bless. By objective measures, the impact of what you created has had a far bigger spiritual impact than most churches. Employees and owners of firms we work with have seen this lived out and have been drawn to Christ. But just as important as the business itself was the way you called people upward. So many of the letters written to you say some version of the same thing. You gave me the confidence to start my business and believed in me before I believed in myself. You never gave up on me and helped me through this trouble or that. Dad, you saw potential in people, called it out, and encouraged them to use their gifts boldly for God's purposes. At Valmark, we strive to live up to the challenge of the book, In His Steps, asking, what would our Lord do? The work of the Global Gift Fund has deployed more than $10 million to feed the poor and care for orphans, and to build churches, schools, and a hospital. The company you founded became a light, a place where people were treated with dignity, where honesty was non-negotiable, and where the culture itself pointed to something greater than the bottom line. I am so proud to carry on this mission. Valmark is not my job, it is my spiritual inheritance from you, representing 2 generations of our life's work together. It is my sincerest wish to pass this torch onto your grandsons, Lance and William, so our work may continue to a next generation. Dad, each of your children is honored, deeply, genuinely honored to carry on what you and Mom started 55 years ago, when you both knelt before Christ and said yes. Everything that is good in our family, everything that is right in our work, everything that is hopeful, in the generation coming after us, it all flows from that moment and from the faithfulness with which you both lived it out every day since. We do not take lightly the inheritance you have given us. We want to be worthy of it. We want our children and their children to look back and say that the torch was not dropped, that the faith held, that the family stayed true. I hope that everyone who joins you here today celebrating this joyous occasion will renew our commitment to live lives that reflect God's goodness. You are and have always been the kind of man Psalm 1 describes, a tree planted by water whose leaves do not wither. And as Scripture says, grandchildren are the crown of the elderly, and the pride of sons is their fathers. On this birthday, we celebrate not just the years, but the roots of God's promise and the fruit of your life. And we thank you, God, for the father and grandfather you have been to us all. We love you more than words can say. With all my love and deepest gratitude, your son, Larry.
All right, so there's obviously so much to say about Poppy, and I'm sure everyone started that off by saying, hey, there's so much I could say. But if I want to get a point across, there's 2 things I think about Poppy. Poppy is a great coach and a great supporter at the same time. You know, if you think of a sport, you have the fans in the stands and then the coach that's next to the field. And I want to start off with the coach part of Poppy. The best coaches make every single player feel really important. Whether that player is loud or out there or that player is more quiet, the best coaches make every player feel equally important. And I think Poppy's a great coach because he does that. Everyone who engages with Poppy, all the grandkids, the kids, they feel equally loved because he does equally love them. And he takes an equal interest in their life. And I think that's really hard to do. And that's something that I admire so much. The second aspect that makes him a great coach is Poppy is such a good encourager. He makes you feel like you can do things you think you couldn't do on your own. I remember when I was thinking about what I wanted to do with my life, I was really stressed because I didn't know. And Poppy said, take this career test. And he really encouraged me. And the results came back and said, oh, you should go to law school. And to that point, I had never thought I was smart enough or disciplined enough to go to law school. And it was Poppy's encouragement that made me really think, hey, I can do this. And now after a year of law school, I can do it, and I'm enjoying it so much. So to help me find what I wanted to do with my life, that's what great coaches do. They put you in the positions where you can succeed. Second, I want to talk about Poppy the fan, Poppy and the supporter. Poppy's always in the stands. I remember there's a great story. Poppy was at Christian's soccer game. He saw Christian play, and he came over, he saw my soccer game, and Poppy made a point to be at both games because, like I said, Poppy, all the players are equally important, equally valuable. And when I look up, Poppy's in the stands. And I think he is in the stands for everyone's life. He doesn't just go to the games he wants to, he goes to everyone's game. He's part of everyone's life. And Poppy's not just a fan, because he doesn't just support you when things are going well. He's a true supporter. He supports the team, quote, when they're not doing well or they're struggling or they're unsure. And I think somehow Poppy is the greatest supporter and coach at the same time. And I think oftentimes you see great people can occupy one of those roles, but Poppy's the only person I've ever met to do both in such a great manner. And I love Poppy. I love you, Poppy. You wrote me a note in a book that I gave you, and I read that about every month. And it's hard not to cry thinking of it, because I know you've done that not just to me, but so many others. And that's truly what a legacy looks like. You're the best coach and you're the best fan. I love you, Poppy.
In life, I think there are two types of people. There are the types of people that are in your life for a season, and there's the types of people that shape the kind of man you're going to become. And my experience with Poppy has always been shaping the type of man I'm going to become. In our generation, there's a lot of questions we all face. You know, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? And I remember as a high school student figuring that out, and what I wanted to do was to be like my grandfather. And so my goal was to get a bachelor's degree in finance, was to go get an MBA, start a company, do exactly what he did. Because I thought if there was one person I knew who did it well, it was him. If there was one person who ran the race well, it was him. And I remember I was doing that, and I remember getting my first job in finance and doing an interview and telling them that the reason I wanted this job was to start on my journey to be like my grandfather. And I remember the second job, the same thing, and I was working really hard. I was getting into venture capital groups, and I felt like I had it figured out. But the tricky thing is that God had other plans. And so I went through a period of time where I lost a lot of things, and I had to ask the question of, is this what God wants me to do? But I also wanted to honor my grandfather. And I eventually decided to switch to ministry because I figured out, it was what God wanted me to do. But what I realized in that process was that the way I could honor my grandfather the most was to serve the Lord. Because my grandfather I always knew as someone who gave everything to serve the Lord. And so now it's been that same mentality of how do I honor him in ministry. And I think, if the Lord continues to bless me with fruitful labor, it's every person that I reach, it ultimately traces back to him. So, Lord willing, my life produces fruit and people come to know the Lord. Every one of those will be in heaven because of my grandfather and because of what he did for me and because of how he changed my life, that I wanted to dedicate my career to honor him in that way. Returning back, you have two types of people, the kinds of people that come and go and the kinds of people that shape the kind of man you want to become. And I can say without a doubt that Poppy has shaped the kind of man I want to become. Even if it's not in the way I initially thought, it's definitely something that's always on my mind. So love you, Poppy. Happy birthday. And thank you for shaping us all into who we're becoming.
Poppy, just wanted to say how much I love you and appreciate you. And there's kind of a couple points that I just took some notes down here that I wanted to just talk about. The first is just like your resilience, like how much you have never let difficult circumstances define you. And I think a lot of people who face like the different things that you've faced, whether it needing to take care of your family as a very young boy, or choosing to not go to college to help your brother, or dealing with like different difficult things in business and in work and life. I think a lot of people would have faced a lot of those circumstances and been like, well, this is my life, I'm accepting this, and they wouldn't have saw beyond or fought for more. But you never let your circumstances define you, and you chose differently despite that. And I think that is a testament to you, but I think it's also an example for so many people out there. We choose our destiny, and obviously God directs our steps, but also like we have power to not let difficult circumstances define us. Even having cancer multiple times, I feel like you have always remained positive, you've always been grateful, and you've looked forward to what's next. I think the other thing I really wanted to point to, just your entrepreneurial spirit and how you're a trailblazer. So a lot of people today discuss just like you're starting your faith and you're choosing to follow Jesus, and also starting Valmark, but like that you really shifted the trajectory of a generation. Your choice to follow Jesus and to really go after that hard, and your choice to start Valmark and do risky things and seeing the fruit beyond that, I think is one of the most unique abilities that you possess. And a lot of people also spoke to this as well, but your ability to see opportunity where others don't, both in people and in situations, is really rare and special. And I think a lot of people in life see things how things are. They're like, this person is this way, they're always gonna be this way. This situation is this way, it's always gonna be this way. And they just kind of write that off. But I think you have the ability to see potential where others don't. And I think the most beautiful way that that shows is through people. Seeing potential in people when they don't see it in themselves, and being able to encourage them to see that to its fullest. And I think we've talked about this a little bit, but I think that's something that I have, not to as great of an extent, but I think that that's something I've learned from you, and I also try to carry forth in everything that I do. Because you never know like how not giving up on somebody is gonna change their life. And I feel like you've done that for so many people, including myself, and encouraging me to take a career path that was a lot more risky when a lot of other people were not on board with it. That conversation we had, that was my deciding factor to go towards the career that I'm in. And I think all the people that I have impacted and I've been blessed to be able to interact with and believe in, I am like able to do that because like you believed in me. And I think like if you look at that from a wide scope of all the people you've impacted, it's just like mind-blowing. I also just appreciate your wisdom so much, and how you always have deep things to say and can be fairly objective too, which I think is very difficult. But I just want to thank you for believing in me and for all the people that you've believed in and made such an incredible impact on. And I want to say I'm sorry, I don't want to cry. There was one day where I got to spend like just alone with you in Florida, and I don't think we'd ever really just been alone together. And like, it was one of the best days of my life. I just like getting to talk to you and be with you and like go down to the beach, and I just really, really appreciate that time and like appreciate you. And yeah, I just am so blessed to have you in my life and to get to know you. So thank you for everything, and so grateful to be your granddaughter. And you know, we'll see how many wonderful bonus years you get, hopefully many more. So yeah.
Recently, someone asked me about the biggest masculine influences in my life. And then I started telling them about you, this mythological figure at the heart of this family. And yet somehow, even within this massive family, it always felt like you had time for me and my little world. You were there at my baseball games, you were there when I was struggling at school, and you were there with me on some of my most memorable vacations. You took me to these unbelievably lavish dinners in beautiful places. But what I remember most is that you talked to me like I was an adult. I don't know if I could count right now the number of things I believe about the world that came from those conversations, or things that I believe about myself. Like that I'm empathetic, and that I'm analytical, and that the combination of those things would make my life difficult. And when my life became difficult, you were there, and you would tell me that I was gonna be okay, and that we were gonna figure it out, and that I had potential. And you proved it to me with this test. And the test said that I could be an architect, an engineer, or a designer when I felt like I was a dropout, a burnout, and a loser. And you helped me find the path that led me here, a light full of love, laughter, and light. And I know that you've lived a long time. I know a lot of people know different parts of you better. I've never really known Larry the entrepreneur, the salesman, the savvy deal maker, the networker, the planner, or the father. But to me, you've always been Poppy, my grandpa. But I think from this safe place that I sit now and I contemplate the role that you played in my life, I think I understand you. You experienced the pain of loss, the pain of having to make your way through the world alone and without direction. And you internalized that you would protect the people that you love. You were both empathetic enough to notice the suffering around you, and analytical enough to make a plan to do something about it. I know this because my story is one of the many stories that I have personally heard of you coming alongside people when they were directionless or alone, and you helped them find a path. I know that there are many more that I've never heard of lives that you've touched in ways that are impossible to quantify. You aren't really just my influence, you're my inspiration. I want to live my life like you do. I want to tell people that they're going to be okay, even when they don't believe it. I want to be smarter and savvier, so I can build a world where the people that I love can flourish. I want to bring people together and help them develop their strengths. I love you, and I'm grateful for the thought, the presence, and prayer that you've invested in my life.
Happy birthday, Poppy. Wanted to wish you a happy 90th birthday and just tell you how much I love you and how much I appreciate you and your generosity, your kindness, your patience, and your love to both me, my siblings, and all my cousins, aunts, and uncles. Thank you for the wonderful impact you've been able to have on my life and the lives of our whole family. Happy birthday, Poppy. We love you.
Poppy, there are so many things that I think about when I think about you. Think about integrity, family, generosity, contentedness, gratitude. You've given so many gifts to me and so many people, but I'm most grateful just to be able to know you and that you're in my life. There's been a lot of talk today about the bonus years of your life, and I'm just very grateful that I got to experience them. It's not lost on me that those are a gift. You've always framed those as a gift. And of all the gifts that you've given me, your time and being able to know you and be a part of my life is something that I'll always treasure. Time with you and Nana is always special to me, from reading the newspaper on your knee as a kid and talking about politics and how many senators were Republican and Democrat, to talking about business and ultimately about how we should live our lives. Thank you for the example you've set for me. I hope that I can continue to follow that example. I'll always be thinking about you, and I'll carry you with me wherever I go. I love you, Poppy. Thank you.
Honestly, I know I'm one of the youngest grandchildren, and I haven't had as much time with you as a lot of the other ones other than Noah, but that does not negate the fact of how profound your impact has been on my life and even just all the rest of my family's lives. When I look back at my childhood, I always remember just sitting back in the Akron home, and we were sitting in that big table, and you were trying to teach me how to eat artichokes, and you were always Emma, slide, and I didn't know how to do that, and you're Emma, slide, and every time I came over, then it kind of became our thing, and then we always ate artichokes together. I know that's so random, and then I just remember being at the Florida home, and we always sat on that balcony, on the one that looked over the lake, not the ocean side, and you would always just tell me about everything, everything. You knew all about the boats and all about the A1, I think, and you just I just remember being in such awe of I just looked up to you, and I was just you just the wisdom, the knowledge, and you just were a wealth of a human being. You know what I mean? You just had such depth to you, and I just am incredibly grateful, because even though I'm only 19, I've only gone 19 years so far with you, but when I think of wisdom, you are who I think of. You, I just think about all of the different, the wealth of knowledge you knew, not only just about life, but also life in a physical world sense, but also just as a human and a Christian. And I am so blessed that I had you to look up to. And growing up, you were the person I always thought of when I thought of Christianity. And because out of everyone, and still to this day, out of everyone I think of in my life, the person that I see it lived out the most in is you. And I think that that is such a blessing, because you set the tone that Christianity is real. It's not just a cultural thing. It's not just something you do, but just who you are, the way you loved, the way that you were generous, the way that you were patient and kind. It was in your whole life. And it just, that I consider myself so blessed that I got to grow up and see what an amazing Christian guy that just lived it, that was genuine and that was true, and that I just think whenever I think of you and Nana, I always just think I know your life hasn't been perfect, but everything I feel you guys do is so awesome. I just remember you guys would go out of your room when I would visit you, and you'd be matching in these cute little blue sweatsuits. And I was just you guys have the cutest relationship ever. And you would be oh, I've married you this many years, decades long. I mean, I don't know anyone married longer. And you'd be but I still love, I remember one time you were in Florida, and you're you looked at Nana, and you're I still love you just the way the first day I met you, that I still love you just the same. And I just remember thinking, if like I could have that kind of marriage one day, and even just your finances, like you guys seem so smart with all of that, and your relationships, like you guys are just so amazing relationally, and just in your faith, that you have the most genuine faith I know. And I just think that I can get to the end of my life and I can look back, and if I could have done one thing like you, I would consider myself like successful in life. Like I would consider myself so lucky and blessed. And I just like want to thank you, because like it is such a blessing to not only everything you've done for my life, helping pay for education, or just like being who you are, like teaching me how to eat artichokes and teaching me about the boats in Florida, but like just the example you set and everything, like I'm gonna take that with me for the rest of my life. And you are who I want to be like one day. So yeah, I love you, and I love you, Nana and Poppy, and yeah.
Hi, Nana and Poppy. I really appreciate all the things you've done for me. I think as I've continued to grow and, spend time being married, I just keep coming back and thinking about all the lessons that you've taught me when we spent time in Florida together, going through college, and as you guys helped me through there, and even when I dropped out of college, you guys gave me guidance. And just now that I'm married, I keep looking back at all the lessons you taught me, and I keep thinking that you've been a part of me as I've made it this far. And as I continue to go throughout life, Poppy, I will always think about the wisdom that you've bestowed upon us. I say us because all of the family, you've done such a good job at really just showing legacy. I think when I look at, a lot of the people I record, I often think about the word legacy and also the word purpose. And I think you've shown us through living example, and also through the words and the times that we've sat and had dinner with you guys. Both you and Nana have just given us, the true meaning of the word legacy. And I just really appreciate, just really the word that comes to mind is time. The time that you've taken to listen to us talk, and for me, talk a lot. And that just really takes a lot of time. And more than that is a lot of patience. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for guiding all of us and giving us really just, something that we can carry on for the rest of our lives, which is, just what it means to have a strong, good family. And you can't really find that anywhere else except for your own family. And you have built that legacy and given us, also the purpose to go and seek out what we might do. And also just shown, what a strong relationship with God does for a good family. So, as I go on throughout life, there will never be another thing like those Christmases that we used to spend at your house, sitting at the kitchen and Nana making us sandwiches, and, just talking with you. For me specifically in Florida, that was just the best of times, because I got to hang out with you and Nana, and you listen to me talk all day. I really am proud of, if it's weird to say that I'm proud of you, even as your grandson, because you've just left a wonderful legacy behind. And, just the Frank Sinatra "My Way" song comes to mind, because at the end, whenever I listen to that song, I think of you, because you did do it your way. And much more than that, it's just like you did it with purpose, and you did it with loving God. So happy birthday, Poppy. I appreciate you allowing me and Christian to put this video together for you. Happy birthday.
Hi, Poppy. This is Noah, so you know who I am. But I just wanted to say that I love you, and happy 90th birthday. And although we haven't had as much time on this earth as a lot of my other cousins have, you've still been a great example of what a godly character should be, and what a godly patriarch should be, and how to lead as a man, and also care for those subordinate to you, and also try to impact the lives of those subordinate to you, and especially how to have conversations, especially when you like talking about yourselves, and learn that you should ask about others and focus on what other people are caring about and other people are feeling. And your generosity is always so awe-inspiring to see how generous you are and how much you care about other people, and how much you pick up in the small details, and you just want to bless other people in your time. which is crazy because I feel like so much people view wealth as this thing where you just get greedy, and the Bible very much says how hard it is to live for Christ and, you know, be a steward. But like, you've always been such a good example of what it looks like when you're blessed with kids or blessed with resources or blessed with gifts, how to steward them for God and realize it's not about you. And I just wanted to like reflect in this moment that like your humbleness and your generosity is like really some of like the craziest examples I've seen in my life. And it's just amazing that we get to like live with you and you get to be our grandparent, because like it truly gives us a good representation of what living for Christ should be. Like, I know a lot of people say that like, oh, I do this, oh, I do this, but it's not just actions for you. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the way you talk. It's more than just it's very clearly not a facade. I feel like for a lot of us, sometimes you can struggle with like, how do I know it's real and how do I know it's a facade? But like, you live it real. You don't suddenly change who you are with one person compared to the other. You treat everyone the same. You treat everyone with love and kindness without telling the truth. How to win friends and influence people. Like, my family sometimes joke that you wrote it because you live that so well. And like, I need to learn some of that wisdom because like, I'm very argumentative and sometimes I can be a little bit too focused on me. You just show us that like, order to truly lead is to be a servant and like be humble. I just want to like take a minute here and just be grateful for like the example you've shown us. And I just hope that all of us can start living it more, because it's so easy to be absorbed with yourself and absorbed with resources in this world and not truly reflect on what matters most, that's God. And with the secularization of the church and how easy it is to cheapen grace, it's so easy to not think of the eternal constantly. But I just wanted to like thank you for showing an example of what looking at eternal should look like. I'm sorry if this was a long gap, but like, I just wanted to thank you for everything you've done in your grandchildren's lives and the example you set for your family. Sincerely.
Hi, Poppy. Happy 90th birthday. Just wanted to reflect on what I was going to say. And when I think about my life and all the opportunities that I've had in my life, it's just so obvious that so much of it traces back to you and Nana, and how you paid and helped for me to go to VCA and CVCA and helped me get through CCU. And when I was 16 and got my first car, you helped me make that happen and get my first car as well. And yeah, I think that all just says so much about who you are, and that you see people and you invest in them and you believe in them. And that's definitely been true for my life. So thank you. And also got to reflect on the time I had with you and Nana this past March in Florida, and just getting to have some dinners with you guys. And those are memories that I'll carry with me. Those were really special. And the thing that really stuck with me from those dinners that I got to hear about was the Bible studies that you guys had, and how you opened your home and were so generous and hospitable to your neighbors. And you shared the gospel with them. You filled your house week after week. You fed them literally and spiritually. And that just shows such a level of generosity and hospitality that you've shown your whole family. You've shown us, your children, and everyone that knows you. You are such an example of how to live with purpose and intentionality as a Christ follower, and that's really special to see. I also noticed in Florida something that was special, and it felt like the things that light you up now, although the trips and adventures were amazing, it wasn't those when you talked, but it was your kids and your wife and your grandchildren. Your 6 kids, your grandchildren whose education and lives you invested in, whose first cars you helped buy, whose lives look different, so different because of your generosity and hospitality, and your faith. Your faith that you didn't keep to yourself, but you shared openly and freely, and the important values that shaped all of us, whether we realize it or not. But those values ripple out, and they will continue to ripple out. So on your 90th birthday, I just want you to know that your love and generosity and the values that you've displayed for your family are beautiful and impactful, and I feel so lucky to be a part of it. So I love you and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Poppy. I was thinking about what I wanted to say to you, and just being named after you is one of the greatest honors of my life. And I don't think I have ever felt the weight of that like I did than I have today, hearing your 6 kids tell you how much you mean to them and the man that you are. And I feel the weight of being named after you, and I know that I have a lot to live up to, but I am so grateful for your example and just the blessing of being your namesake. As I thought about this, I started to think about some of my favorite memories with you, and one of my favorite memories of my entire life is when you taught me to throw the baseball outside your house in Florida, and just how that developed into a love for baseball and the memories that we have together of you driving me to my Little League games and the day where you took me out of school to go see the Indians play, and just the time that you intentionally poured into me and all of your grandkids has just had such tremendous impact. As I was thinking about this, there are 4 things, Poppy, that you have modeled so well that I appreciate most about you that I want to share with you, although there are many more than that. The first is how you build people up. I remember when I was maybe 12 years old, I had just started caddying, and we had a family event, and I had caddied for somebody earlier that day, and they didn't treat me well, they didn't pay me well, and I came to Aunt Cheryl's house for dinner and was telling the whole family about it, and I was talking about the person that I caddied for by name. And the only time in my life you yelled at me, you stopped me in front of the whole family and said something along the lines of, never, never speak badly about somebody, especially using their name, because it reflects poorly on you and it reflects poorly on the name of our family. And I cried. I was so embarrassed. And that is a lesson that I never forgot. And Poppy, not only do you not speak badly about people, I don't think I have ever heard you speak poorly about somebody, but you speak blessings about everybody. And one of the things that I most appreciate about you is how you build people up who aren't there. If Nana's not there, if my mom isn't there, if my siblings aren't there, you speak life over them. And just as speaking gossip or poorly about somebody when they're not there gets back to them and it brings them down, when it gets back to somebody that you were speaking life when they weren't there, it builds them up in a way that is somehow greater than even if you were to speak those words to them. The second thing that I learned from you and I really appreciate is your wisdom. And I have come to you, all of the grandkids have come to you at the most pivotal points in our life. And never once have you told us what to do, but you listen, you care, and you ask us deep, thoughtful questions that let us come to the right conclusion for ourselves. And we are making the decision ourselves. You allow us to have responsibility over those decisions. And you have just led all of us on a beautiful path. And you did the same thing with my dad when you took him to the ice cream store in 4th grade and told him if he could go to the 5th grade at King's School or he could go to 4th grade at Chapel Hill, and you let him make that decision. The third thing, Poppy, that I want to be like you and Nana in is how you opened your home and how you just had this beautiful desire to share the gospel and to use the resources that God had given you to make him known. And hearing those stories about the Bible studies at your Portage Path House, how there were so many cars that you had to have a policeman direct traffic. Like, that is my dream for my home someday. It is such an encouragement, and I pray that God will allow me and my spouse to do what you and Nana did and to be faithful in that way. And then finally, Poppy, one of the things that I admire most about you is just the husband that you are, husband and father that you are. 60 plus years with Nana, you have been a faithful, biblical, godly husband, and you guys have the most beautiful marriage of anybody I know. And if my marriage can someday be half of what you guys have now, I would count myself tremendously blessed. I am so thankful to be your grandson, and I love you more than words can describe. Happy birthday.
But just thinking about, getting married in a week, so that's a lot on my mind right now. Just thinking about how much I appreciate the fact that you were able to meet Catherine, get to know her, and that I was able to get your approval. That was something that was very meaningful to me. I always hoped that you'd be able to, meet my wife, in one way or another, and so I very much appreciate that you're able to be there for the wedding. And it's just gotten me thinking about there's life going into eternity, but even still, there's still life that continues here on earth through memories. I would love for my children to get to know you. And even if that's not on a personal level, I want them to get to know the type of man that you are through, the stories I'll be able to tell them, the wisdom that you've passed on to me, and my dad and my siblings that I'll be able to pass on to them. What you've given us will be your legacy far beyond while you're here, because the impact, just speaking on ours, you've impacted so many lives that that's, can't even begin to count it. But the impact you've placed on our lives is going to impact the lives of those we impact. And so that impact just keeps compounding and compounding. And so even if, my kids don't get to meet you, they will still get to know the type of man that you are, I hope, through, wisdom that you've passed on to me. And you're an example of the man I strive to be. And so hopefully they get to know you through that way as well.
Hey, Dad, happy 90th birthday. Like your children, I wrote a letter, and I'd like to read that, and that's what you'll see me do, and I'll hopefully get through it. Dear Dad, happy 90th birthday. As I reflect on your life, what stands out most is not your success in business, but the legacy you've built through the people whose lives you have influenced. You've had a tremendous impact on my life. Early on, you encouraged me to switch my major from business, a decision that changed the course of my career and enabled me to provide for my family. You've also encouraged me to pursue my MBA, opening doors and opportunities that have served me throughout my life. But beyond my career, you've taught me the value of being a lifelong learner. You've challenged me to keep growing, keep asking questions, and never stop improving. You also taught me to think beyond today, to look ahead 1, 3, 5, even 10 years. That long-term perspective has helped shape many of the most important decisions I've made in my life. But perhaps the greatest example has been in your family life. Your love and commitment to Mom for 65 years, your devotion to your children. You've shown me what it means to be a loving husband and father. As I raise my 3 sons, I often look to your example. One of my favorite things is spending time with you and Mom over dinner, listening to your stories and hearing what incredible life journey the Lord has given each of you. Those conversations are a gift, and they remind me of how richly God has blessed our family through your lives. Your life also reminds me of one of my favorite movies, It's a Wonderful Life. If you were George Bailey, you would be able to see the countless lives that you've changed because of your influence, encouragement, generosity, and faithfulness. The impact of your life extends far beyond what any of us can fully measure. What struck me even during your 90th birthday celebration was your focus was not on yourself, but on others. You encouraged us to share the beyond lifetime guarantee of the gospel with those around us. That has always been your way. You've never simply talked about your faith, you've lived it. By your example, you've pointed... By your example, you pointed countless people towards Christ. Your influence will continue to live long after you're gone. Thank you for your wisdom, encouragement, friendship, and example. I'm grateful to be your son-in-law. I'm grateful for the lasting impact you've had on my life, on my sons, and so many others. We celebrate not only your 90 years, but a life truly well lived. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you.
Uncle Larry, it is so good to be here today and celebrate your 90th birthday. I have so much to be thankful for of you in my life. Started, as you know, when my family was going through a lot of trouble. You were there for me. You gave me hope. You gave me encouragement. You started talking to me about the Lord. And as the years went on, you held me accountable, helped me through college. One of my biggest inspirations you have had on my life, on my family, on my kids. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to spend the time with you, and you took the time to get to know me and help me through my journey in life. I appreciate you, I love you, and thank you.
Poppy, when I think of a life well lived, I think of you. I think of all the stories that could be in a movie. I think of all the things that you and Nana have told me about you guys' story, and how great of a love story that you and Nana have shared over the years. I think about all of the kids and the impact that you've had on their lives, and I think about their kids and the impact you've had on our lives. And it's truly incredible. Think about all of the people who speak highly of you. I think about the reputation that you leave behind and the legacy that you've built. And the only term that I can think to say is a life well lived. And as I'm a young man on the front end of my life, I look at your example and I hope that I can replicate a fraction of the adventures that you had, a fraction of the love that you shared with Nana and your kids, and a fraction of the impact that you had. Whenever it all comes down to it, those are the most important things. And in all of those areas, you're one of the most wealthy men that I know. And it's not because of your money, or it's not because of the business that you've built, but it's because of the love that you've shared and the investment that you've had in so many other people's lives and the legacy that you'll leave behind. And Poppy, I appreciate everything that you've done for me personally, but ultimately what you've done for the family. Since a young age, you've supported your family, and that family's kept on growing, and you've kept on supporting them. And now, as you look back at your life, I hope that you can just feel nothing but pride, and that you've done a great job. And I'm proud to be your grandson, and I love you very much. Happy birthday, Poppy.
Dad, happy birthday. I hope that this birthday fully expressed how many people love you and how you've been such an incredible example for us. Your guarantee and promise of how God is faithful to the second, the third, and even the fourth generation is something we will always hang on to and will always be there for us. We love you so dearly, and I am so, so proud to be your son and carry on this wonderful heritage that you created for our family. God bless you.
When we became Christians, I kind of felt that was like a guarantee from the Maker. And learning the Scripture, studying the Scripture, and sharing it with my wife and with people I worked with, I felt like it was a guarantee from the Maker. So you think about it, where you got a guarantee, you bought a piece of luggage, or you bought something and you got a lifetime, and they say we'll give you a lifetime guarantee. And when you see a lifetime guarantee, and then you think about this guarantee, it's way more than a lifetime. But it's a guarantee from the Maker. And daily look back at that guarantee and listen to this guarantee. It said, "Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the path of sinners, or sit in the seat of the scoffer. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and his law he meditates day and night. And he will be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water, which yield to fruit in its season. And the leaf does not wither, and in whatever he does, he prospers." So I look at, and then it says, if you keep reading, it says, "The wicked are not so, but they are like chaff, and the wind just blows them away." And I thought over all those years about the guarantee. Well, who's making that guarantee? Well, I got the guarantee from the Maker. who made us, and it's his guarantee. Then later on, you all said the guarantee goes not just one generation. And when we hear somebody say, this is a lifetime guarantee, this is more than a lifetime guarantee. It says the third and fourth generation. And I'm thinking about it, and how many people here are, well, first of all, who's the first generation? Who's the second generation? But how many people here are the third generation of that guarantee? Raise them up high. Third generation. Now, they're not here, but I think of those beautiful children in their bassinets, in their cribs, and see them crawling in our living room on the floor. And I realized this is a fourth generation. A fourth generation. Those little kids, and you're teaching them. Their moms and their dads are teaching them the scripture, and they're teaching them that this isn't a guarantee for 1 year, or this isn't a guarantee that could be taken away. This is a guarantee from the Maker, from the Creator of the universe. And when you say, I want to buy that product and get that guarantee, you know that you have that guarantee, not just for your life, but for it's available for your children and your children's children and your children's children. If you say, I want that, I want it, and you feel so bad for the people that won't explore that guarantee. They won't even consider it, or they even mock you because you took the guarantee, because you believed. But it all starts with believing, with the faith of Jesus, and that decision we made. Joe and I thank Dave and Sue Burnham every day when we pray, every meal, for the patience they showed and leading us to Christ and exposing us to that life and that guarantee. And we are so grateful, as Michael mentioned, for people in the business, people in the neighborhood, people we would come across that we had the privilege of sharing that guarantee with them, sharing Christ with them. And if they decide they don't want it, it's their decision. But it's not because we didn't expose them to it or tell them about it. And we are so pleased to see, even now, you think Lance bought a house, William bought, or Michael bought a house, their own house. They bought with their money, but they both have Bible studies in their house. They're reaching out and inviting people to their house and sharing the guarantee with those people. And they have the same attitude. They say if they don't believe, that's okay. It's not my job to make them believe. It's my job to expose them to this guarantee, to this gift. And to see us married and memories. We have so many memories of people that we've shared Christ with. So many memories. And we thank God every day that He gives us, that He uses us and gives us the opportunity. And I am so grateful. At age 90, I never expected this to happen. To be there and to be able to share these memories, to share with family, and to observe the second, third, fourth generation. You think about third generation, fourth generation. This is beyond expectations. It's beyond anything you could imagine. And I want to just thank my wife. I thank God for bringing her into my life. She always says, "You're spoiled." No, she does, and I say you're absolutely right. I mean, I am not a good. I do a lot of bad things. I don't listen all the time to her, but I am so grateful for the years that we've shared, the memories that we share. I want to thank especially today Christian and Andrew for deciding to do this, to want to, and what they said, they like to, if anybody wants to give us a message, they've set up a studio here that you could just individually, because they said if we tried to do it for everybody here, we'd be here till next Monday. But anybody who wants to share a message with us and have it videoed, Andrew and Christian have arranged the equipment and the facilities to do that. And I want to thank somebody else that you all know, and that's Vicky. Everybody knows Vicky. And everybody, when I talk to somebody, they say, well, Vicky's taking care of that, Vicky's taking care of that, or Vicky's done that, or Vicky has told us. And Vicky, thank you. Thank you so much for the years that you spent. Vicky knows what a spoiled brat I am. and how unreasonable I could be. Thank you for putting up with me. And thank you for this evening and this memory. It's on film. It's a memory, and you made it happen. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to each of you for being here, for sharing this memory, and hope each of you share the guarantee, accept the guarantee, and share the guarantee with people you come in contact with. Because only one person can make that guarantee, and that's God. That's the only one who give us that that guarantee that goes to the second and the third and the fourth generation. That's it.